Good morning, grade fives, and welcome to another English lesson with me, Miss Kun. Hope you are ready to rock and roll our English for today and that you've got paper and a pen or a pencil ready to continue doing the activities that I do with you. Remember that if you've got any questions throughout this lesson, email them to grade5@WorksheetCloud.com. Okay, are you ready to start? And I'm going to begin with my joke of the day. What did the baby corn say to the mama corn? What did they say? They said, "Where is popcorn?" So pop like the dad, corn. I quite enjoyed that. So I hope you did too. Okay, so boys and girls, what we are doing today is a continuation from our previous lesson. Our previous lesson, we looked at the comprehension called Children's Games, and we specifically looked at the comprehension side of that text that I read to you. Today, however, we are going to be looking at the language portion of that particular text, because always in English and throughout your English classes, you will always find that you'll always have comprehension questions based on the text, and then you'll look at specific language questions that are also based on the text. All right, so for today, I am going to reread the story to you, reread the text to you, to again just refresh your memory on what the comprehension, or what the text was actually about. I'm going to read it once, okay, and I'm going to explain a little bit more, and then I'm going to read it for a second time. So, at break times, the girls play a game called French and English. You pick sides with a captain for each. Gladys Long and Winnie Davis run fastest and are always captains. You draw a long line in the street, and one side stands on one side of the line and one side on the other side, face to face. Each one must first bring a stone and put it in a nest far behind your own line. Then you jump up and down on your side of the line and try to get past a girl and fetch a stone out of the other nest. If you get caught, you are a prisoner and have to stay in the nest. It is a fine game with many to play. We also play a lot of skipping and rounders and hopscotch, which wears shoes out awfully. Many times we take off shoes and play with bare feet, which is easy for picking up the marbles with your toes. The boys play marbles and tops and catapults and catching birds and shooting with daisy guns. They carry their marbles in bags. Some have hundreds, big glassies and small glassies, blood eyes and commons. You shoot the marbles out of the ring with a big glassie. A blood alley is the most precious of all marbles because of having red spots in it. Tops are exciting. Sometimes they end in a fight. Some boys have 4 tops, one for kipping. They throw into a ring and try and kip other boys' top out with a spinner. They have a special kind of string. Put some wax on. I just spit mine. Tim can make his sing, and so can Stevie. They also play cricket and soccer. Sometimes they let girls play too. I always keep the goal. So if you remember from the previous lesson, this particular extract was a diary entry that was written by a little girl named Iris, and it was done about 100 years ago. And so what she is doing here, so you can see, there's no paragraphs, some sentences don't make sense at all. The spelling is atrocious sometimes. I hope maybe you've picked up some spelling words and spelling errors. And so she was just writing in her diary, explaining some of the games that her and her friends play at school, and some of the games or she's observed people playing some of these games. And so it's quite interesting. Right, so that was Children's Games. And so I'm going to read it one last time, and then we're going to look at the comprehension, the questions. Sorry, not the comprehension questions, the language questions that go with this particular text in this extract. Okay. So one more time. And remember, I would love for you to read along with me. So in my head, I'm picturing that as I'm reading, you are joining and you are reading along with me. So, children's games. At break times, the girls play a game called French and English. You pick sides with a captain for each. Gladys Long and Winnie Davis run fastest and are always captains. You draw a long line in the street, and one side stands on one side of the line and one side on the other side, face to face. Each one must first bring a stone and put it in a nest far behind your own line. Then you jump up and down on your side of the line and try to get past a girl and fetch a stone out of the other nest. If you get caught, you are a prisoner and have to stay in the nest. It is a fine game with many to play. We also play a lot of skipping and rounders and hopscotch, which wears shoes out awfully. Many times we take off shoes and play with bare feet, which is easy for picking up the marbles with your toes. The boys play marbles and tops and catapults and catching birds and shooting with daisy guns. They carry their marbles in bags. Some have hundreds, big glassies and small glassies, blood eyes and commons. You shoot the marbles out of the ring with a big glassy. A blood alley is the most precious of all marbles because of having red spots in it. Tops are exciting. Sometimes they end in a fight. Some boys have 4 tops, one for kipping. They throw into a ring and try and kip other boys' top out with a spinner. They have a special kind of string. Some put wax on, I just spit mine. Tim can make his sing, and so can Stevie. They also play cricket and soccer. Sometimes they let girls play too. I always keep the goal. Right, so that's just reading it for a second time. And so let's have a look at our questions. So here is where we are going to get ready. Okay, so question number 1 is a very straightforward question. Let me put myself here at the bottom. All right, it says, identify as many spelling mistakes as you can from Iris's diary extract. It says create a table, and in the first column, write down all the incorrect spelling, and then in the next column, the correct spelling of the word. Right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to the previous slide. And I want to encourage all of you to then pause the video, have a look at the spelling mistakes. And you are going to draw, as the instruction says, you are going to create a table with 2 columns. In your first column, the little heading is going to be the incorrect spelling. So you're going to identify the incorrect spelling in the extract. Write it down. In your second column, this is now going to be your correct spelling of your words. So next to your incorrect spelling, you're then going to have your correct spelling of your word. Right, so before I go on to the next questions of our language, I would suggest maybe just let's do this one first, because the next couple of questions are a little bit different to our spelling mistakes. So I'm going to go back a slide to our actual text. Now I want you to pause the text, pause the video, draw your table, and I want you to identify your different spelling mistakes. Okay, so pause and go. Okay, so I hope that you have done that. Now let's go back to the questions and look at the rest of the questions that we are doing. So that was question number 1. Now, question number 2 says, it says you draw a long line in the street, and one side stands on one side of the line and one side on the other side, face to face. Okay, so this is a sentence from the actual extract. So that's why I said that the rest of the questions are a little bit different to number 1. Number 1, you actually needed the whole extract in front of you. So the question for this says, what part of speech is the word used in this sentence? So here I've even highlighted it for you. If we just look at this word what part of speech is the word a? Number 3. Again, same sentence. You draw a long line in the street and one side stands on one side of the line and one side on the other side, face to face. Now, the question I have for you is, I want you to identify 2 verbs from this sentence. So all you need to do is write 2 verbs from this sentence. Okay. Question 4. Okay, so question 4 says, my apologies, it should say question number 4. It says you draw, now you, same sentence, but now the word you is in color. And it says, what part of speech is the word you in this sentence? So do you see, boys and girls, that just by using one sentence, I can ask many questions based on that one sentence. I can ask you to identify what part of speech is this word? What is that word? How many nouns can you see? How many verbs? How many adjectives? Maybe rearrange the sentence and do this, this, and this. And so many types of questions can be asked just using one basic sentence. Okay, so you'll see now in this question, it says, it's the same sentence, but you see I have highlighted the word line and line. And so the question says, the word line is a what? So if I say to you, what is this word line? What can we describe it as? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Is it an article? Is it a pronoun? Is it a conjunction? What is the word line? You draw a long line in the street and one stands on one side of the line and one side on the other side, face to face. So the word line in the sentence, what part of speech is it? What would we use to describe it? Then the next question, so do you see now, let me just move me. Okay, so now I have highlighted the word and. And the question says the word and is a what? What is special about the word and? So again, I'm going to read the sentence again. You draw a long line in the street and one side stands on one side of the line and one side on the other side, face to face. Okay, right. And so that is those are all of our questions. Very short and sweet, six little questions, identifying different parts of speech. And it almost is a nice little summary of some of the previous lessons that we have done together with language in English. So the very first question, so now I'm going to go through your answers, and remember, if you want to pause the video, maybe go back, rewind, look at it again, I would really suggest it. So now you should have all of your answers ready in front of you and you are ready to mark. Right, so number 1, you needed to identify the different spelling mistakes from the extract. So I've got all of the spelling mistakes over here. Right, so the incorrect spelling mistake, should say incorrect, is captain. She spelled it T-I-N, and the correct way of spelling captain was captain, T-A-I-N. Right, she mentioned about the shoes that wear out. So she says wears, W-E-R-S, and the correct spelling is W-E-A-R-S, wears. Then we have the correct spelling of the incorrect of precious. All she has missed here is an I, because this says precose, okay? But if we have the I, precious, precious, precious. Then she said the word because, and the correct spelling is because. Remember, spelling is so vitally important in English. And I'm sure that your English teacher is just as strict with spelling as what I am with my boys that I teach. So the next question, you have to look at the word a and tell me what part of speech it was. So did you say it was an article? You are correct. The word a is an article, just like an and the. Right, we have articles. Then it says identify 2 verbs from the sentence. So from the sentence, we've got the verb draw and we have the verb stand. So those are our 2 verbs from our sentences. Right, the next 3 questions it said that you needed to tell me what part of speech is you in the sentence. Then the next question, you had to tell me the word line is a what and the word and is a what. So let's look at those answers. So you is a pronoun. You is a pronoun. Me, pronoun. His, pronoun. Okay. Right. And so pronoun. Right. And now the next question said you needed to identify what line is. Line happens to be a common noun. And remember, you can't just say noun, because there are many different nouns that we have in the English language. Common nouns, proper nouns, pronouns, abstract nouns. We've got many different nouns. And so it is important that you specify it is a common noun. And the last question for today, you needed to tell me the word and is a conjunction. Remember, boys and girls, that a conjunction are those special words that join simple sentences and make simple sentences into beautiful compound sentences, and allows flow within our sentence, and just gives us more structure and depth and creativity within our sentences. And so, short and sweet lesson for today, just looking at the different language. And so remember that whenever we have comprehensions, you can either get comprehension questions based on the text, or you can get language questions based on the text. And do you also see that you can take one sentence that is taken from the text and many different questions are asked based on that one particular sentence? And so what I would do, I would go and practice, boys and girls, have a look at different types of words. Wherever you see words, say to yourself, what type of word is that in the sentence? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adverb? Is it a conjunction? Is it a adjective? And really try and identify as many different parts of speech as what you can, because remember, the only way to improve your English is to just practice your English and to read. I hope that you're all reading as much as what you can. So I shall definitely see you next time. Have a wonderful day. From me, Ms. Kun, Hakuna Matata, and remember to be kind to one another. Bye.